Thank you for joining us for this video on transitioning to adult regional center services. The topics that we will cover today are: who is an adult? Conservatorship and alternatives to conservatorship, transition planning, regional center services, an individual program plan, public benefits, adult day programs, employment, independent living services, living options, and residential care homes. Here in California, our loved ones are protected by these two laws. The Lanterman Act regulates the regional centers and provides lifelong services. The IDEA, or Individuals with Disabilities Education Act, regulates services available through the school system until the age of 22, unless the young adult graduates with a diploma sooner. What does this mean? The Lanterman Act ensures resources for the rest of his or her life after your loved one graduates or completes school. California's legal age laws establish that an individual reaches the age of majority, or the age at which an individual is legally considered an adult, when he or she reaches 18 years of age. In addition to signing documents, including the IEP in the school system, the IPP in the regional center, and any other legal document, there are, of course, many adult responsibilities. Parents need to consider their child's level of capacity with regard to each of the following. Once they turn 18, it doesn't matter if our loved one has a disability, they are legally adults. And with this comes a long list of responsibilities, such as paying state and federal taxes, voting, making medical decisions, serving on a jury, applying for a credit card, entering into contracts like leases, and opening their own bank account, marrying without the consent of their parents, gambling, and parents are not legally required to support adult children. So, what can we do to help our loved ones? Is there a way that I can continue supporting him or her to make informed and educated decisions? And then we think, gosh, my child has a disability, and we freak out. Breathe and not to worry. There are options that we will look at now. Conservatorship is one alternative available to parents to continue supporting their adult child with decision-making. Conservatorship is a court proceeding in which a judge gives a responsible person certain rights to care for another adult who has a developmental disability and is a regional center client. The responsible person is called a limited conservator, and the individual with the disability is called a limited conservatee. Conservators are usually family members, parents, and/or siblings, although not always. This process usually starts when your child turns 17 and 6 or 9 months old. You can hire an attorney privately, or you can do it on your own with the self-help center through the Superior Court. Check with the court in your county. Conservatorships are not administered by the regional center, but your service coordinator can provide information. If your child is older than 18, do not worry. You can file for conservatorship at any age. It is a limited conservator's duty to help the limited conservatee develop maximum self-reliance and independence. Because developmentally disabled adults can usually do many things on their own, The judge will usually only give the limited conservator power to do things the conservatee cannot do without help. Having a conservatorship is a very personal decision, and it will be different for each family. For those families that do not want to conserve their loved one, there are alternatives which we will look at briefly now. An alternative to conservatorship is referred to as supported decision-making. Supported decision-making is what it sounds like. It is assisting or supporting someone so that they can make their own decisions. It means finding tools and supports to help a person with a disability understand, make, and communicate their own choices. It is about supporting them to make their own decision, and in doing so, safeguarding their autonomy. It does not mean making the decision for them. SDMAs, or supported decision-making agreements, identify the support the person wants and who will assist in each area. They are customizable according to the person's needs. SDMAs are signed, notarized, and can be attached to legally binding documents, such as an individual program, educational program, an IEP, a durable power of attorney, a HIPAA form, or a Social Security representative payee form. SDMAs can help a self-advocate practice supported decision-making at school, in the healthcare setting, and beyond. Now that we know what our options are, let's talk about the transition plan. Transition can start with the school at the age of 16. It is highly recommended to invite your service coordinator to participate at these meetings. The transition plan can be put together between the school and the regional center. Everything will depend on how proactive you are. These are some of the things that need to be addressed during the transition planning. Post-secondary education. Post-secondary means any program after the senior year, which is provided by the school. Vocational education, integrated employment, including supported employment, continuing in adult education, adult services, independent living, and community participation. All other services are provided by the regional center. Speaking of the regional center, we'll now focus on regional center services. All services through regional centers must be listed in an individual program plan or IPP. We will discuss what it is and what it should contain. An IPP, or Individualized Program Plan, identifies your goals, services, and supports so that you can be more independent and fully included in the community. You have a right to a written IPP that lists your future goals and what services you want and need. It is a written agreement and a contract between you and the regional center, written in a way that you can understand. Considerations include where to live, who to live with, where to go to school, who to have for friends, what to do for fun, what to do in the future, what services and supports you want and need. An IPP is an action plan that talks about the assistance you need to live the way you want. It is important that the regional center develop an IPP that meets your needs and reflects your choices and preferences. Your IPP meeting will determine the independent living and vocational services to be included in your IPP. Adult services for people with disabilities focus on resources that impact all facets of adult life, including employment, housing, community life, and post-secondary education. Typically, your transition service coordinator will stay with you until everything is in place after exiting the school system, where you will live, if you will continue to go to school, have job training, or an internship, and all other arrangements. After that, then you're transferred to the adult unit where you will stay for the rest of your life. Adult services revolve around community inclusion, self-determination, and independence, and might include, but may not be limited to, assistance in accessing community resources or entitlements, such as SSI, Supplemental Security Payment, which is a payment from the federal government for people who have disabilities, and IHSS, In-Home Support Services. This is administered by the county in which you live and are supports in home so that the person can stay in their home and remain independent. Other adult services can be day programs, supported employment, independent living skills training, out-of-home living options, and residential care home placements. And we will discuss all of these in more detail. Day programs are another option for our loved ones. Work and day programs exist for consumers who are no longer in school and are focused mostly on job skills. They usually operate 6 hours a day, usually 8 to 2 or 8:30 to 2:30. People who work in the community may also have a job coach funded by the Department of Rehabilitation or SARC. Day programs are community-based programs for individuals served by a regional center. They're available when those services are included in that person's individual program plan. Day program services may be at a fixed location or out in the community, and there are different types of day programs as we discussed. Regional center clients who have the desire to be employed and have shown the skills to do so are referred to the Department of Rehabilitation. The regional center and the DOR work very closely together to support regional center clients who wish to have a job. If deemed eligible, the DOR will assist consumers in finding appropriate paid employment. The DOR will refer regional center clients to a supported employment agency. The employment agency will provide a job coach to assist them at their work site. Job coaching is provided for a limited period, but helps the client get accustomed to the responsibilities of the job. The websites listed from DDS and from San Andreas can provide more detailed information. Independent living skills, or ILS, provide training and assistance for adults with intellectual or developmental disabilities to achieve greater independence while living with others or to acquire and maintain those skills to live independently. ILS services should begin while the individual is still living at home so that he or she can be successful living on their own. ILS services mostly focus on basic self-help activities that we all do as adults and may include any of the following: money management, shopping, meal preparation, health and medical care, laundry, advocacy, and psychosocial supports. There are many living options for adult regional center clients. An adult CERT client can continue to live in the family home, of course, if that is what they and their family wish. There are several options available for non-medical residential programs for clients. Residential care homes, which we'll discuss in a moment, adult residential facilities, which are larger communal facilities, Supported living programs in which the person lives in an apartment with a caregiver. You have to pay for the apartment and the food and just like anyone else, but the salary of that caregiver is paid for by SARC. And there is also semi-independent living. For residential care homes, or RCHs, they are funded by a resident's Social Security monies and a monthly SARC supplement. Each resident is provided with a monthly P&I, which stands for Personal and Incidental Monies, stipend to purchase things like shampoo and other personal items. SARC funds level 2 through level 4I RCHs. Level 2 is the lowest level and level 4I the highest level. For example, people in a level 2 home would be fairly independent and could, for example, have a job, take the bus on their own to and from their job and to the RCH. As the level increases, the needs of the residents increase, the staffing ratio lowers, and the cost of the home increases. There are a number of useful websites that can provide more information on the topics that we have covered. Thank you again for joining us. We hope that you found this presentation useful and informative. Most PHP webinars, support groups, and services are free. We're committed to providing innovative, high-quality online content to families like yours.